Winter can run on for what seems like forever once you've had 5 months of it in many parts of the North Country. The better to get on open water as soon as the ice is out, sometimes even before it's totally gone. With the water so frigid, smallmouths hold in deep water in a transition zone between deeper wintering areas and the shallow areas where they're headed to feed and eventually spawn. In-Fisherman editors have pioneered a sort of counterintuitive method to catch these fish.
He's just as cold as can be, just frigid. Not a big fish, but not bad. Certainly a great way to start the year right there. There'll be a lot more smallmouths where that one came from, hopefully. They got a good month and a half probably to spawn in time. So they're up here feeding now. And big bay here, Canadian Shield Lake. And there's classic shallow water areas where the fish are going to be able to spawn and feed. There's intermediate depth areas with a lot of rock where the fish are going to be able to spend a lot of time. And then there's basin areas where they spend most of the winter and some of the fall and some of the spring. And those basins, it's really important that they be not too deep, so not more than 50 or 60 feet deep. So a lot of water, you want a lot of water from 40 to 50 or maybe 60 feet deep, and that's it. And then all of these little areas where they push up in and feed, and then they push way up in to spawn. So that's classic smallmouth habitat in a shield lake. Back we go here, buddy. And I've talked many times about how counterintuitive it is at ice out and even late into the fall to have smallmouths hitting an aggressive lipless bait like this. This is the Bagley B-, a rattling B-, and real low rattle in it right like that, but we'll talk as we go. But you're just making a long cast with this, and you're ripping it up off the bottom, or you're pulling it up off the bottom. You let the fish tell you what the kind of retrieve they want, letting it sink, rip it up, let it sink, rip it up, let it sink. And most of the time they're hitting it on the fall, no surprise there. That fish came out of about 28 feet of water. Lift it up, let it fall, lift it up, let it fall. There we are. Most of the time you'll see the line jump, but you're also going to feel the hit most of the time. And I'm working with spinning tackle now, but I really prefer to use casting tackle. I'll do that on the next fish. Yeah, like the last one, nice fish. Strong for sure, beautiful. All right, he's not hooked real well. Let's get him in the net here. Nice, beautiful again. Wow, and you gotta put him on the floor. This is a real fat one. Get that out of there with a hook tool here. Of course, these are all fresh fish. They haven't been bothered all winter. So they're looking for something to eat right now. They're all tuned up, and that lipless bait is just what they're looking for. Something aggressive, something way more aggressive than most guys would think. And where have I used that technique? You name it, from the Great Lakes, Lake Erie, Green Bay, the Dakota reservoirs, natural lakes in Minnesota and Wisconsin. So a lot of different spots. So it works both spring and fall, and sometimes all through the summer. The guy's got the big tummy. I didn't show you that right there. Back we go. And the cool thing about this Bagley Lipless is they make one that runs shallow, called a minus, so up higher, and they make one that runs deeper. So that's the one I've got on right here. So it sinks a little faster, just generally runs a little deeper. So this is the plus model right here, or the deep model. Tell you what, let me go to the casting rod this time. Make a cast. Same process. It's easier to do a rip and move where you're really aggressive with the casting rod. The pulling is actually easier probably on the spinning rod. There we are. Most of that time they hit you away from the boat, but every once in a while you're going to get one directly below. And again, here we go. And again, what you're looking for at this time of the year. Get that line off there. Not a big one. But what you're looking for is those transition areas between really deep water where they wintered, like in 40 and 50 feet of water, and you're looking for a lip that kind of sticks out into that deeper water, and most of the time that lip is going to be maybe 25 to 35 feet deep, and then a lot of times it'll come up onto you need a little feeding shelf up there, and then it's going to spread all out into the shallows where they can feed. So they're just moving up right now into those feeding areas. He's got the stub nose going there, not a big one, but not bad. On the casting tackle, I think basically overall this time of year you're usually pulling more than ripping. So I'm going to go back to the spinner now. There. You know, as counterintuitive as this is, that's one thing about this technique, but I mean, I've used it all across the country now. And it's also a great search tool. You can make such long casts. All right, buddy, in we go. Nice. That'll be big fish of the morning so far. Wow. All right, yeah, got him. 41.5-degree temperatures this morning. And so again, something like that lipless bait doesn't seem like it'd be a great choice in this kind of situation, and yet I've been in 20 different places across the country where it's worked. Right at ice out, it often works in the summertime, definitely works again just before ice up in the fall. So great technique to employ. Yeah, obviously you can make a long cast, so it's a great search tool too. Not only triggers fish, but a great way to find new spots and new concentrations of fish.